And all right, well, I'm pleased to be joined by Rosey Grab, member of the Operating Engineers Local 49, working on construction projects here in the Twin Cities area. Looks like you're on a project site right now, Rosey. What are you up to out there?
I'm actually on the Twin Port Interchange up in Duluth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
That's
that's working
yeah,
on that right now.
that's quite a project. What specifically are you doing there?
I bounce between skiddy loaders and cranes. I go where they need me. Sometimes I fill in for people and yeah, I just go where the wind blows.
Yeah, sounds good. I guess before we get into too much of that, I was wondering if you could, you know, talk a little bit with us about your background in construction, how you got into the industry, and what attracted you to this line of work.
Well, we have 5 generations in Local 139. So it runs in the family. And then growing up, I went the usual route of going to school. I graduated from school. I was a teen mom, um, put my kids first and raised them. And then once my youngest graduated, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. At one of my jobs, I was talking to somebody and he helped me get my foot in the door and asked if I was affiliated with 139. And I said, no, not yet. And he asked if I'd mind working in Minnesota. And I said, absolutely. I'll go wherever you want to send me. And so he got me all lined up, and unfortunately, haven't had the opportunity to work for him and his company because of circumstances being layoffs and all that. And I jumped on to work wherever I could get it, and I went to work on a project out in Hendricks, Minnesota, on a wind farm. And when that project wrapped up, then I moved onto the out of work list, and from there, I got hired on with my current company that I'm with right now, and I've been with them for almost 5 years. So I worked in St. Paul, I worked in Minneapolis, and now I'm up in Duluth.
Okay, and who are you working with now?
Kraemer North America.
Okay, sure. Uh, how long have you been doing this now?
Then I'm going on 5 years this year.
Okay. And, how do you like it so far?
I'm enjoying it. I'm learning new things every day. I get to try different equipment out as it comes along, and I'm working on keeping my knowledge base as open as possible so I can learn as much as I can. And I work with some really good guys who have been good to teach me on what I need to do and the ins and outs of the whole thing. And yeah,
So that's are you oftentimes one of the few women on the project site, or how does that work? I know we're seeing more and more women go into the trades, but obviously it's still male dominated. Do you find yourself being the only woman on the job site sometimes, or what's that like?
when I worked on the wind farm, there was a few of us. Not that we really saw each other except for right in the morning and right at the end of the shift. And then my first job with Kramer, there was no other women on that job site. And that's okay. I grew up with a bunch of boys. I'm used to that. It's all right. And then when I got to the Twin Port Interchange, or the not the Twin Port Interchange, excuse me, when I got to my second project with Kramer, there was, I believe, only one other. Maybe I could be misspeak. I could be misspoken. There might been a couple of others, but um, there was very little women site on that site. And then when I came up to Twin Port Interchange, between the two companies that are on this project, we had quite a bunch of us that worked together. Right now there's layoffs and there's other it's a little slow, so they got some of us are getting redirected to different projects, so we're not all up here right now.
Mhm. How are they treating you out there? How are the guys treating you on the job sites?
I got my crew that a crew of good guys that have my back, and they're willing to teach me because I'm willing to learn. So I got some good ones up here. So I've been blessed.
Good. And what other projects have you worked on?
The stormwater project in Minneapolis, and then a Summit Bridge project in St. Paul.
Okay.
The wind farm was the Blazing Star project through Mortensen.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what do you like about operating equipment? That's, I know it's, there's a lot to learn, right? You don't just jump on one of those things and, start, just start overnight learning a job like that. What has that been like? Just learning all the equipment and things of that nature.
It's intimidating at first, but the more I am learning different equipment, the more I'm learning how to know what to ask and what to look for. And it's getting easier to learn the newer equipment just because now I know, you know, who to ask and what to ask. And I think that's the hardest thing is when you first start out, you don't know what to ask until you need to know. But
Hmm.
no, I like to lift weights, and some of the stuff is I can't lift it myself. So if I can do it with a piece of equipment, that makes it all the more exciting for me that I can lift heavy stuff. So for me, that's what it is. I can lift heavy stuff and move things, and there's a finesse about it, and um, a lot of science plays into moving loads like leverage and just basic your basic science stuff that comes into play with it that people don't normally think of and associate. So I like to test the science of things sometimes, and that's what I
Hmm.
was doing today. I was lifting some coil rod and learning how it reacts if I move a certain way or if I lift it from a certain point instead of where I need to. And yeah, so that's my learning today.
Okay. Is this the kind of work that you would recommend other young women to consider if they're looking for something that maybe is not, I guess, non-traditional or something that they might not, because you tend to be steered in certain directions, right? And
Hmm.
would you encourage women to consider the trades as a career if they're not quite sure what they want to do?
Absolutely. The only thing I would suggest is to find what you like to do, like what your passion is. Do you like to build things? Do you like to see things come together from, start to finish? And how would you like to partake in that? Like for me, I like to move heavy things, um, but I also like to drive. And so there's that. Some women can do the labor trades, the carpenter trades better. I know my body can't handle that, so I know my limitations. So if you understand your limitations of who you are and what you can and can't do, that will help you better decide which path to go on. As an operator, the equipment doesn't know if you're man or female woman, or if you're 16, 17, or 82. It doesn't care. It's a matter of, can you pull the levers and push the buttons, and do you have the mental capacity to know what you're doing with what your load, and are you teachable? Can you learn new things? Because each equipment does different things. Just like in carpentry, there's a tool for each job. Well, on the equipment side, there's equipment for each job. You just gotta know yourself and know what your limits are, and then go from there. And if you don't know, I mean, there's forums and there's groups and other places. There's many places and resources to ask to kind of get a feel of what is the best route for you.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Sometimes when we think about the trades, we think of, kind of a one size fits all thing, but there are a lot of different directions you can go, right? under that general rubric of the trades. So, in your case, operating equipment makes sense. Someone else, it might be, like you said, a laborer, or carpenter, or whatever. So,
Just to name a few. I know there's many out there.
yeah, right. So are you from Minnesota or
I'm
yep,
not.
okay,
I'm from Wisconsin.
okay. So, how did you end up here then? Just kind of where the work opportunities were,
Well, when I um was at one of my jobs, a gentleman came in and we had done some talking, and I didn't know who I was talking to. and and he when he heard what I wanted to do, what goals I had in life, he asked me about working for his company or the company that he's with.
or?
And he said as long as I was willing to travel to Minnesota or work wherever I needed to work, then that's where he needed me, was over here in Minnesota. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got affiliated with the 49ers.
Hmm.
So he had me signed my sponsorship for the apprenticeship, and I just got bounced from there.
Yeah. So that project there in Duluth, how's that going so far? It's quite a project up there. Um, are you enjoying being part of that?
Well, I am. It's been fun watching. I've been here since the demolition went on. And so to see where things used to be and then now to where we have new ramps and what's coming up, it's been quite an adventure.
Yeah,
So we got some setbacks right now, so we're slowing down a little bit, but
yeah.
hopefully we'll get through that soon.
Well, the weather's been pretty decent overall this winter, so I imagine that helps.
Well,
I
it's
don't know.
been unusually warm.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't assume what's happening in Duluth. I'm down here. It's been crazy warm, so
Well, we
yeah.
have 6 inches of snow at my house and no snow up here.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah. Well, well, I guess I guess you kind of you walked through a lot of what I was going to ask you about, but did you have anything else to add? Or it sounds like you found an opportunity, you're taking advantage of it and doing something that you enjoy and you know making a decent living. So that's great. Um,
Sure. I've
but
had a lot of help along the way and a lot of people to give credit to, and I couldn't be where I'm at today without quite a few people. So I'm very grateful for where I'm at, and I look forward to where this venture takes me.
all right, well, awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to work, Rosie. And thanks for taking some time to chat. Been fun talking.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.